Hello, yes, that's right. It's Joe here live for Joyrider TV. Perhaps with some limited Q&A, but if any questions come in, I will certainly do my best to answer them. Why, I hear you cry, are you not in the Joyrider TV studios in Vasiliki, Lefkas, Greece? Well, I can tell you it's because I'm actually currently in Egypt. Yes, Egypt, that's in Africa. What are you doing in Egypt? I hear you cry. Yeah, so I'm here to do some Hobie 16 coaching with a very high level Egyptian Hobie 16 team. And on the thumbnail picture, you will see this absolutely stunning 2022 Hobie 16 with the Mistral sails. And it really is a very nice boat. And in fact, I might do a little piece on that boat for the next episode of Show Us Your Cat. So that's what I'm doing in Egypt. How's it been going so far, you may ask? Well, funny you should ask. Yeah, been here 2 days now, and we were planning to sail near to a town called Hurghada, and unfortunately we ran into some red tape that actually stopped us from going afloat at all. Boat was on the beach already, very nice, but can we go? No, you can't. You can't go. So we couldn't go. So we've actually come back to where the guys usually sail, which is in the Gulf of Suez, kind of fairly close to the entrance to the Suez Canal. And yeah, we have been out on the water today. Not so much wind, probably between 6 and 7 knots, but you can do a lot with 6 and 7 knots. That's what I'm told, and that's what I'm saying right now. Okay, in the live chat, we have got Benksum in Azerbaijan. Nice to have you on board. Yeah, getting a little bit closer to your neck of the woods, I believe. All right. And Sunset Wingman is in the live chat as well. No way. I watch Egypt ancient mystery videos all of the time. Great stuff. Yeah. So maybe if time allows, while I'm here, I can actually go and see some of the a wonder. Wouldn't that be nice? Yeah. I don't think that would make it into Show Us Your Cat though. It's not exactly a catamaran. So the hot topic out on the water today, yeah, wind was tracking round to the right. What does that mean? The wind was tracking round to the right as we were sailing further away from the beach. The wind was going round to the right. What that meant was, I don't know if this is valuable content or not. I haven't really got much to talk about today apart from what I've been up to. But it meant if it's going round to the right and you're sailing upwind, it means on the starboard tack, you're going to be able to start pointing closer to your windward objective. So yeah, so if you were to maintain the same course all of the time on starboard tack, what you'd find is the outside telltale on the jib will start lifting. And what that means, as we may know, is that we can then start pointing the boat closer to where it is that we want to go. And in the same way, you know, that's what we might call the lifting tack when the wind comes round more from the right. So on the other tack is going to be the opposite. So on port tack, when we tacked, wind coming round to the right, it means we're getting headed, which means the inside telltale on the jib will start lifting, meaning we have to sail further away from our windward objective. So I thought that was quite an interesting point. So how would you apply that tactically in a situation on the race course if the wind was shifting round to the right? We'd have to think about that, wouldn't we? Because what we want to do is sail the shortest possible distance and be pointing in the right direction as much of the time as possible. So it might be worthwhile taking the headed tack first, port tack first, so that then when we tack, we get lifted up to the buoy. There we go. All right, you heard it here first, or maybe you heard it here somewhere else. All right, who else is in the live chat? We've got Bernhard in Austria. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, this might be quite a short one today because I haven't got any preloaded questions, and I've got no whiteboard to write on. Shocker. Right, we've also got David on board in Belgium. All right, nice to have some Belgium in the live chat. Scott's with us in the US of A, dropping it in the slot. Yes, I am in Egypt at the moment, lording it up with some good Hobie 16 sailing here. And we've got Ryan in Maui. Hello, Ryan. Morning, all. All right, thanks for tuning in. All right, Young Aviators in Valencia is on board as well. If anybody's got a question, by the way, that would really get the ball rolling in the live chat. Otherwise, this is going to be remarkably short. But yeah, and sorry for the lack of prior notice. All right, we've got sorry about the pronunciations. Genji B, who is a Joyrider Sailing Club member. Oh, yes. Thanks for joining and becoming a member, which is quite a good talking point, I believe. How is it possible the easiest way of supporting Joyrider TV is to become a channel member on YouTube? Because what I've heard recently, anyway, to become a channel member, you'll see it under all of the videos. There's a button that says join, and then you can become a channel member. It's 5, whatever the units are. I can't remember which ones I used, but it's either pounds, dollars, or euros. $5, pounds, or euros per month. And you may think, well, yes, I'd like to support Joyrider TV, but it would be nice if there was something in it for me. Well, there is something in it for you. And what that is, the main feature, is you get early access to all of the videos. Because usually when I post a video, I have some sort of strategic plan for when it's going to go live. But if you're a channel member, it means as soon as I've uploaded the video, you get access to that immediately. Perhaps that means you don't get your, what would you call it, heightened anticipation of when that sweet content is coming your way. But you just get to have it whenever you want. Nice. And it also gives you that warm feeling inside that, yes, you are supporting Joyrider TV. In the is in the same category of supporting Joyrider TV. In the last in the video that I did on Christmas gifts, oh yes, very nice. If you are thinking of getting someone something from the totaljoyrider.com online store in time for Christmas, then I would suggest getting your orders in sooner rather than later, because at the moment, the turnaround time and the shipping and everything is proving to be pretty quick. But I dare say as we get more into the middle of December, those times are going to slow down. And nobody likes that nervous feeling of waiting for the postman to bring items to put into Santa's bulging sack of good stuff. All right, Ryan says, do you wear sunscreen on your face? Yes, I do, but I am feeling a little bit on the rosy side, if that is what you're referring to, after a day on the water. Yeah, I do, and a hat. Yeah, I like to think I'm quite protected. All right, Bernhard says, how is it in Egypt? Yeah, it's nice. The weather has been absolutely fantastic. I think we're somewhere mid-20s temperature, which, sorry, I can't do the conversion to Fahrenheit, but mid-20s. Water, pretty similar to Greece, around sort of mid-June kind of Greek water temperature, or in fact, late September water temperature in Greece. And but yesterday, when we were further to the south, it was pretty windy, like 20 knots. But we weren't, unfortunately, we weren't allowed to go sailing due to some sort of red tape, I think you call it. Whereas today, no red tape, less wind, but very good conditions all the same, very steady. All right, Ted is on board in Athens. Okay, let's say on a Hobie 16, until how many knots of wind is it safe to sail without trapeze and not being in danger to capsize? Well, this is a very good question, actually, because I think there is this kind of great belief that to sail in high winds, you absolutely have to trapeze. But I think it's not true necessarily. Yes, you will certainly go a whole lot faster if you use the trapeze, but you can sail the boat on all points of sail without using the trapeze at all, especially if you're sailing with two people on the boat or even three. But even if you're sailing solo, you don't have to use the trapeze, even upwind. So on the upwind point of sail, this is when the trapeze has, let's say, the most significant effect, because it's when you have the most heeling force, making the boat try to fly the hull. But even in a strong wind, let's say 25 knots of wind, if you want to sail upwind, no trapeze, you just effectively sail as if it's either windier or you're carrying less weight on the boat. So to do that, what do you need to do? You let the traveller out more. So if you let the traveller out all of the way and sail a bit closer to the wind, yes, you can sail without the trapeze, even in 25 knots of wind, which I think for most people would be the kind of like, after that, you'd start getting a bit nervous anyway. I have made a video on this topic in the past. I can't remember what it's called or how you'd find it, but when I get back to Joyrider TV Studio One from this Egyptian World Tour, I'm going to start going back to the indexing job that I've got with the videos and get them onto the new website so that it's much easier to find these sort of titles. All right, I hope that helps. But there you go. You can leave the trapeze harness at home if it's not what you like to do. All right, Ryan says, I did get custom shirts from Joe at totaljoyrider.com, and I can highly recommend them. Thank you, Ryan. All right, nice. All right, we got Mark on board in Ohio. Loved the Christmas gift ideas. Just got my Flying Fish Arts sail bag yesterday and love it. Yeah, very nice sail bags. And somebody did ask in the comments, when you got your sails from Whirlwind Sails, did they not come with a bag? Well, yes, they did come with a bag, but there are sail bags and then there are sail bags. So like normally your sails for your boat, if you bought new sails from any sailmaker or original from Hobie, let's say, or any other manufacturer, they would come in a bag, which would usually be like a nylon sleeve with like a pull cord drawstring end, which worked really well to protect the sails. Very nice. But if you want a bit more versatility with storing all of your gear and just it to be that bit nicer and to really treat yourself to, or treat somebody to something that maybe even they didn't know they wanted, but when they get it, they'd be like, oh yeah, that's nice. I could put my tiller extension in there, main sheet blocks, could even put your buoyancy aid, trapeze harnesses in there, whatever you like. Yeah. So that is why a sort of, what would you call it? More of a sail and equipment bag rather than just a sail bag. Nice. All right. Scott says 2 custom hoodies came my way and I love them. Thank you very much, Scott, for the endorsement. You know, I think the new designs on the totaljoyrider.com website are particularly fetching. And of course, custom designs are available too. There we go. If you want different colors, like your sail colors, like if you've got a Hobie 16 with the Mistral sails, like in the thumbnail picture of this live chat, then yes, you can. Sail number on there, boat name. You could get rid of where it says Joyrider if you really want to, and put yes, please on there or something, whatever you like. Anyway, okay. So Christian's on board. Hello, Christian. Fair winds and Merry Christmas. All right. Scott says, I use a surfboard bag and it works great. Yeah, very nice. Yeah, surfboard bag would work pretty well. All right, we've also got Marty on board in Switzerland. Yes, Marty, hello. So, Marty, I did notice that you sent a preloaded question in from last week's Q&A, and the topic of this question was the diamond wire settings for a Hobie 18. Now, to be honest, I don't know, is my honest answer. And I think it's important to be honest on such a topic that it is quite important, diamond wire settings, because if you get it wrong, then it's really going to affect how the boat sails. So on a Hobie 18, it is different to an F18 in terms of your settings on the rig tension, the diamond wires, all of those things. So I've actually reached out to probably one of the world's leading authorities in the Hobie 18 class at this time. And as soon as he gets back to me, we will get it in next week's Q&A so that we can, because I'm guessing, Marty, at the moment in Switzerland, you're not getting out on the water so much. Your boat is probably under at least 8 inches of snow. So that will be there for when it's time to dust that bad boy off. All right, Ted says, if mainly cruising sailing, is it a good idea to put protection tape under the bows for more carefree beaching for the bows? No, I don't think I would. I don't. I think the quick answer is no. I wouldn't worry about that. I would just, if you're going to beach your boat, and especially if it's a beach you're not familiar with, I would just do my best to have a good look at what the beach is made of before you put your boat on it, and have a look around. If there is a certain beach where you're wanting to put your boat, have a look around nearby and see what the friendliest looking surface is where you can land your boat around that kind of location. So when I was sailing earlier in the year in the archipelago raid in Sweden, there was one place where we were stopping and it just looked pretty nasty for pulling a sort of high-end Formula 18 boat up onto. I was like, oh my gosh, that is gonna really upset the hulls of the boat. So fortunately, we found one plank of wood which was wide enough to go under between the hulls, and we could sit that under the balance point of the boat. Or the other thing you could do if you're going cruising and you're intending beaching the boat, and perhaps the beaches aren't sandy beaches, maybe there's some rocky beaches you might encounter, perhaps taking like 4 small fenders. I'm not talking about guitars either. That wouldn't work particularly well, and yeah, that would be a poor choice. But 4 small fenders like you'd hang off the side of a yacht, maybe tape those to the dolphin striker, like really small ones, like that kind of size. And then that means when you want to put your boat on the beach, you can sit the boat on those fenders and you don't need to worry about the boat getting damaged. But always have a bit of an idea of what the beach is comprised of before dragging your boat up it. That is a very good idea to look after your gel coat. All right. So Ryan says, Hobie 18 reimagined looks legitimately cool. Yeah, I would have to agree. And it's actually John Forbes from the reimagined, the driving force behind the Hobie 18 reimagined class, who I've reached out to get that information on the rig settings to use on the Hobie 18 Classic. All right, Marty says, actually, I've cleaned the snow off now, but you're right. It was about 50 centimeters at one point. All right, yeah, that is enough snow to stop you from getting out on the water. Certainly not snowing here in Egypt, and I don't suppose anytime soon. Right, got Hans on board in Germany. Hi, Hans. And hello to cat sailors from cold, nasty Germany. Okay, fiddling on the F. All right, well, do what you must. All right, Thomas is with us as well in Germany. Great to have you with us, Thomas. Cool. All right, Ted says, I could play the fender to collect the bow restoration money. Yes, that would do well. But yeah, and if you're pulling your boat out of the water without a trolley, then there is a bit of technique that you can use, which will especially protect the bows, which is if you bring the boat in towards the beach and lift the bows of the boat as high as you can, pretty much, so that the back of the boat is still floating in the water. And then with the back of the boat floating, just bring the boat onto the beach as much as you can, but without it actually touching the beach. And then at that point, put your fender or whatever you want to use. You could use your buoyancy aid, not particularly nice for your buoyancy aid, but maybe better than risking damage to your hulls, under the point where the hull's going to touch down. And then you could kind of slide the boat up on that. That's what I reckon. Okay. So Mark says, lake effect snow in Ohio and New York up to 7 feet. Oh my gosh. All right. Hans says, main foil balancing mechanism on the Moth. Wow. Yeah, that sounds pretty technical. We've actually got, at this time, a significant amount of snow in Greece. Can you believe that? Yeah, in the mountains in the north, there is very high quality snow. So when I get back from Egypt, I think it'll be around the Christmas holidays. Yes, going to be hitting the slopes. Yes, I'll see you there. All right. So, all right, we've got Phonos Nekripapia on board. I hope that was pretty close to the correct pronunciation. In Athens, we're the crazy dudes who bought H1. Oh, yes. All right. This is a great story, but I'm going to read the message first. Sailed her to Athens. Any ideas on how to sail the 16 upwind and short high chop. We had interesting Mel Temi session near Vullian. Many cheers. Yeah, so these guys from Athens, they bought a Hobie 16 from Wildwind Sailing Holidays in Vasiliki on the island of Lefkada, which is on the opposite coast of the whole country. Yes, that would be seen as quite a long way. In fact, it's an incredibly long way to sail a boat from there to Athens. Yeah. And they made it very good. But how would you sail the 16 with short, high chop? Yeah, it can get quite uncomfortable. But I think the main point of the part of the technique that would be perhaps different to normally sailing in those conditions, if the chop is making the boat just continually go up and down like this, then perhaps the way to get through that more smoothly would be not to sail quite as close to the wind. Just come away from the wind a few degrees so you're powering up more. Then that means your leeward hull is going to cut through much more, which means the boat isn't going to sort of bounce as much. And that might be the smoothest way to get through that chop. If bearing a wave means that you become quite well powered and you're having to ease a lot of main sheet consistently, rather than having to do that, much better to let the traveller out so that you can still sail with a pretty tight main sheet. But I would have to say, massive respect and congratulations for making it all the way across Greece on a 16. If I was braver, I would do that sort of thing myself. Maybe I will. Yeah, I'd be very interested to know which route you took. If you went all the way around the Peloponnese in the south of Greece, because that must be huge distance that you sailed there. Great stuff. Hope that's of some sort of help. All right, Ted says, I suggest a conversion of beans into knots at some point in time. Yeah, so on the traditional Joyrider t-shirt design, it's because one of the first sort of, let's say it was a catchphrase, but it was just something that I'd say quite often was, yeah, we're giving it the beans, meaning we are giving it full power and sending it as much as we can just now. And this got adopted by the global community on Joyrider TV. So that is where that came from, and people liked it. Okay, I'm going to wrap things up now. Sorry for the short session tonight, but I am away. I'll be back in the studio next Friday, so I'll see you there. But there is a very high quality video coming on Sunday. Any channel members might have already seen it, and they'll be able to tell you, yes, this is some solid gold. Actually, from my last sail with Bad Boy 95 of the whole season, where I was looking for alternative landing sites, and it is informative, educational, and entertaining. What more could you want? So I'll see you there with that one on Sunday. If not, have a great weekend, keep it safe. And if you are able to get out on the water, take a GPS with you and get on the speed stick. Thank you very much, and I'll see you soon.